Player has natural 9. Player hand wins. Player has 1. Player has 7. Banker has 2. Player hand wins.
The game Baccarat is one of the oldest casino games that dates back to the 14th century when it was brought to France from Italy. The word Baccarat is derived from an Italian word which means zero in English. Baccarat was invented by Felix Falguier, an avid gambler from Italy. Initially, Baccarat was played with tarot cards. One of the most powerful French rulers, King Louis XIV, banned all forms of gambling, but instead of decreasing the interest in such kinds of games, the prohibition had the opposite effect. Hence, Baccarat became even more popular. Thus, the French version, chemin de fer, or chemi, became widespread. In Europe, Baccarat became commonly played in the 19th century, and there was a preferred variation in every country. Yet, in Europe, the interest in chemin de fer variation prevailed, but punto banco was the most frequently played variation in the UK. Frankly, it was the English variation that became popular in the US as American Baccarat. The game also widespread among high rollers, apart from being popular among the French nobility. In fact, most of the passionate players were keen on Baccarat and even made huge single bets. As time passed by, a lot of Baccarat versions emerged, and quite a few of them remained. Punto Banco, Baccarat Banquet, and Chemin de Fer are some of the most commonly played Baccarat versions. Punto Banco and Mini Baccarat seem to be the most popular variations in the US. Mini Baccarat is a popular Baccarat variation for a reason. Mini Baccarat was invented due to the increasing popularity of Baccarat, low table limits, and simplified rules that attracted mass players. As for the online mini Baccarat games, the American rules are being followed. The random number generator is responsible for the fairness of the game and an equal chance of winning by all participants. Live dealer Baccarat games are being offered by some casinos too, where they can interact with the croupier and keep a close eye on how the game action unfolds. Baccarat can be found in every brick and mortar casino in every part of the world nowadays. The French variation of Baccarat, chemin de fer, became popular in England. However, it is known as European Baccarat today. A combination of European Baccarat and the aforesaid chemin de fer was what Tommy Renzoni brought to the US. Despite the changes in the rules, the game remained appealing to high rollers and players from high social class.
The rules in playing Baccarat. The rules of Baccarat require all the betting on any particular hand to be completed before the hand begins. The game then starts with 2 cards being dealt to each of 2 hands, known respectively as a player hand and a bank hand. The game objective in Baccarat is to predict which one of those hands will subsequently acquire a total which is closest to 9. This is done by betting on the bank hand, the player hand, or else wagering that the round will finish as a tie. The house rules at any particular venue will decide whether either the bank or player hands are entitled to draw a third card, and in any event, there will always be a maximum of 3 cards available for any hand. Those who correctly bet on a winning player hand qualify for a 1-to-1 payout. However, while those who correctly forecast a winning bank hand will also be eligible for a 1-to-1 payout. Under Baccarat rules, they must also pay a 5% commission. This has the effect of reducing the payout odds on this hand to 19 to 20. A winning tie bet qualifies for a payout of 8-to-1.
If you wager on the player hand and it comes nearest to 9, you win twice your stake. If you wager on the banker hand and it's a winning hand, the payout is 95% of your stake. But don't forget that totals above 9 require you to drop the first digit to get the true value. For example, 9 plus 6 equals 15. Drop the 1 will be equivalent to 5. A tie is the other betting option, which, as mentioned, will give you 8-to-1 payout. Score sheets are available at live Baccarat tables to help you keep in touch with your score. One thing which can be confusing about Baccarat is the drawing of a third card. But the most important thing to remember is, this is not a matter of strategy. These decisions are covered by game rules and actions by the dealer. So as a player, you could simply go with the flow. But it's always a good idea to have some understanding of what may happen. When a player's hand totals 0 to 5 or equals 10, a third card is drawn. If the total is 6 or 7, the action is known as a stand, which means no third card is drawn. Totals of 8 or 9 are described as naturals, and here, no third card can be drawn. These actions are summarized in the chart below. Total for first 2 cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 has an action of draw a card. Total for first 2 cards of 6 and 7 has an action of stand. And total for first 2 cards of 8 and 9 has an action of neutral to stand. The rules for a banker hand follow similar principles but are a little more detailed. Once again, the dealer is responsible for applying these rules and thus will announce the action to be taken. And once more, the actions involving the banker hand are summarized in the chart below. Total for first 2 cards 3. Draw on player's third card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. And stand on player's third card 8. Total first 2 cards of 4. Draw on player's third card 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And stand on player's third card 1, 8, 9, and 10. First, for total cards of 5, draw on player's third card 4, 5, 6, and 7, and stand on player's third card 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10. Total for first 2 cards of 6, draw on player's third card 6 and 7, and stand on player's third card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. Total for first 2 cards of 7, draw on player's third card, stand. Total for first 2 cards 8 and 0, draw on player's third card, neutral, and stand. Players for first 2 cards 0, 1, and 2,
Draw on player's third card, always draw. And one more point, when there is a tie, there is no loser. Should the first two cards total 8 or 9, the hand is deemed a natural and is thus an automatic win, except when both hands produce naturals of equal value, in which case it becomes a tie. If neither hand contains a natural, further cards are drawn to decide the winner.
Top tips to play Baccarat. Like many other casino games, there is much you can learn from the experience of playing the game, but certain plays and actions should be understood early, so here are the 6 Baccarat tips to help you develop a playing strategy. Number 1. Ignore the tie bet option. Experts have calculated the house edge for a tie bet is around 14.5%. Such a big percentage is a disadvantage from the outset and always makes this particular bet a poor choice. The banker is your best bet because the banker wins just over 50% of games. This should always be your go-to bet, and the fact that 5% commission is charged to reduce the benefits to the player simply confirms this. Follow the bank until it loses. You should always watch for winning strikes, and statistically speaking, the bank will usually get the most. When this happens, bet with the bank, just don't be over-aggressive. Pass on the next bet after the bank loses. Whenever the bank finally loses out to the player, don't bet to the next outcome. Wait until the following one. Note whether it's a win for the player or the bank. Then resume betting in line with the outcome of that play. The 5th one is discount all tie bets. For strategic purposes, treat every tie bet as if it never happened. A tie bet is simply a drawn game without a winner or loser, so don't include it in your bank win, player win calculations. And the last one, practice good stake management. Though Baccarat has an advantageous house edge, its win or lose ratio makes it a coin flip. So look to follow bank strikes as suggested, but always monitor your outlay. Staking 10 units for each wager with a limit of 200 units per session is a wise schedule to follow.